Is this kid the next in the line of great linebackers at Penn State?
I honestly believe so. I watched this film down with the New Orleans Saints facilities with a couple of Saint coaches. His dad played in the pros for the Saints and played at Penn State. This is a real sleeper, the sleeper in the whole country as far as linebackers are concerned. I got him in the top 100 for one reason. He belongs there. I think he'll be an impact player for Penn State and be at least a 3-year starter.
Mike Motti, number 5 on Tom's top 10 list for top linebackers of the class of 2008. On to number 4, it's Marcus Robinson, verbally committed to Miami. Is this an immediate impact player?
I believe so. Marcus Robinson had 22 sacks last year coming out of from the outside. This guy is a mean, tough, aggressive ball player. Just what the doctor ordered again for the Hurricane defense. He could be a leader within a couple of years, but I think he'll be an impact player as a true freshman.
Shane Hale is number 3 on your list, and Michigan and Ohio State are battling each other for this young man. Where do you think he's going to end up?
Michigan, Ohio State, or West Virginia. I think it's one of those 3 schools. I think he'll stay close to home. Michigan and West Virginia has offered his cousin, Cameron Sadler, a DB wide receiver on the team also, so you got to keep that in mind. But the Buckeyes could wind up with him. He's a big linebacker who's going to wind up as a defensive lineman. He doesn't want to hear that, but he'll be a defensive end in college. He's going to be 6'4", 280 in a couple of years. Same like Sean Gilbert did when he came out of Aliquippa, was a linebacker going to Pitt. Within 2 weeks, they had him as an All-American defensive tackle. Same thing will happen to Shane Hale.
Fans of Florida State think Nigel Bradham, who's number 2 on your list, is the best linebacker in the country. How far away is Nigel from that number 1 spot?
Not too far, just apples and oranges. Arthur Brown's a little bit taller, but Nigel reminds me of Derek Brooks. He came out of the panhandle of Florida. I went down to see him. Almost exactly the same size-wise. They got great instincts. Speed to the ball is uncanny, and also production. That's what Derek Brooks had. That's what Nigel Bradham's had. And I think Arthur Brown's just a little bit bigger, and that's the reason why.
Is Derek Brooks the best comparison to Nigel Bradham?
Exactly, because they're almost identical in size, speed. Both play tailback on offense, and both of them are just an abnormally aggressive, quick-to-the-ball linebacker. Brilliant, brilliant speed.
Now, Arthur Brown, as we mentioned in the previous segment and throughout the season on Generation Next, is your number 1 linebacker, top defensive player. We came in with your top 10, last 10, number 1 linebackers in high school football. Where does he rank on that list?
Arthur Brown would be right in the middle of it, too. You know, I may not put him as talented and athletic as, I'll say, a LeVar Arrington or somebody like that, but I think Arthur Brown, since he runs a 4.4 to 4.5 and he weighs 230, he could compare with just about every top linebacker over the past 10 years, particularly with production. I know he plays in Wichita. It's not like playing in Miami or Chicago or Los Angeles. But still, he makes just about every play, sideline-to-sideline type ball player. He's great in space, and he's also a very explosive pass rusher.
Now, Arthur, who is uncommitted at the moment, is going to have visits to Alabama, LSU, Miami, North Carolina, and USC. As a class, as a whole, for this linebacker unit, how would you rank the linebackers in the class of 08?
Better than last year. I thought the last couple of years were kind of weak. This year is very good. It's both outside and inside linebackers. Then you got the intrigue with Arthur Brown. Not only which school's going to get him, but if they get him, they're probably going to get the number 1 prospect in the country for next year, his brother Bryce Brown. So a lot of intrigue in the linebacking class this year.